Welcome to the MS&Me Radio Network. The broadcast shows are for informational and entertainment purposes only. They are not designed to provide listeners with specific personal, medical, or counseling advice. Individuals with a medical issue should always consult their healthcare provider. MS&Me is not responsible for content of individual shows. The views expressed by show hosts or the guests are their own. Enjoy the show.
Hi, this is Kaz Aston recording today from the United Kingdom in Ascot actually, so hopefully not too much traffic noise going up and down the road, but there might be a little bit, so apologies for that. I'm not going to play music because today should I say, I'm actually going to have my first ever guest on my radio show. I've got all these medical people lined up, but actually I'm going to start with a really interesting person that has done some massive things and is still doing massive things for multiple sclerosis. We talked this year, I mentioned last week, that it was the year of collaboration for me, and that's what I really am focusing on. How I can work together with other organisations, other people. I mean, it might just be friends and family. I mean, it hasn't, well, not just. I mean, friends and family are really important. But it's actually focusing on the whole concept of collaboration, you know, to help us with MS. As I said to you last year, I went off to a couple of MS conferences, one in Prague and for Shift MS, and the MS European Summit, and of course one that was for the MS and 21st Century Steering Group. So kind of a lot of stuff there. I just hope they pay me soon. Anyone listening to this, shout out, because, you know, we are now in February. But anyway, to be a well-paid volunteer. And we know certain industries are worse at paying you, and we know that, so I won't moan about that, because it's an exciting show. As I said, I'm going to introduce a very good friend and business partner in a moment to you. But first and foremost, let's kick off and do the the Multiple Sclerosis Research Daily headlines, because some of these are really cool. And I urge you all to look at this. I'm going to say www.https://paperly. And this is the Paperly publication for Multiple Sclerosis Research Daily. Really good today. We kick off with a really cool headline of Octavus and Hope of Ending MS Forever. Interview with the MS Society, Tim. Basically, the approval of this new drug. I don't talk drugs, so I'm not going to try and pronounce the name of the drug because that's quite complicated too. But this month supports the idea that someday the world free of multiple sclerosis, and it's possible, according to these people, that we can stop it. Then we're looking at 9 common multiple sclerosis myths. I think that's really quite good, actually, because sometimes people do invent these myths about things. If you do this, or if you take that, or because you live like this, you've ended up with that. So, and also the next one is one we touched on before, and it's featured again. It's all about the testosterone. Testosterone, why the incidence of multiple sclerosis is lower in men. Okay, so we've actually getting some more researchers have discovered why men are much less likely to develop multiple sclerosis, or MS. Highlights level of testosterone. Testosterone triggers production of various cytokine, little kind of like proteins and things happening in the blood. Bit complicated, so I'm not going to rush an explanation of that. Have a read. And you can read this free online. Living with multiple sclerosis, a personal lifestyle, writing and fighting. Yeah, you know, I mean, I think that's one of the things that's helped me, is actually writing sometimes, sharing information that you've learnt along the way that might help other people affected by MS. Okay, we're jumping back onto the vitamin might lessen the severity. Well, we all know, we've all heard the story, you know, about vitamin D. But, as I said, you know, I'm in a country where we get less of it, particularly when it's raining every day. But, you know, the fact is that we've got some evidence now, a study conducted by researchers at the University of Oxford, you know, so basically we've got hard evidence that's actually saying why vitamin D is a big player. I've known it for a while because I've read a lot of the research publications. And again, here we link on to sun exposure in youth helps prevent multiple sclerosis. So again, it's more about vitamin D. We get sunlight, we get that. And as Phil, who I'm going to be chatting to in a moment or two, quite rightly highlighted, even in our supermarkets these days, they're even saying this has got extra vitamin D, this has got extra this, calcium in this, and I actually did. And I will confess this because I think this is important for people to think about. But I found out yesterday that my blood levels, when I went to have my MS treatment, my vitamin D levels are low. And so I've got to do something about that. So I've got to I stopped taking my high level supplements because I wanted to see if they were making a difference. And now I've got the evidence from my blood tests that they are. So again, we talk about that. Again, we're moving on to common criteria of multiple sclerosis diagnosis. 3 new avenues to treat progressive multiple sclerosis. Well, that's fantastic news. Remyelination, neuropath protection, and targeting astrocytes. So that's all about the cells again. So that's really moving up to a molecular level. I think that's the right way to describe it. MS news that caught my eye. Salt, myelin, and another drug. I've missed 2 drug names out there. And this is a good one because I met somebody at this conference that I went to at the weekend, a training session, all for expert empires, which is a really good environment because I want to find out how I can help my charities the best. But I met a Reiki practitioner at the event, and she actually gave me some Reiki because I was feeling a bit emotional because I just found out that my credit card didn't work to book a place on the course. But, basically she did some Reiki on me in the session over lunch. And I was tired, I'd overslept because, I've been pushing it a bit far maybe, but basically it really helped. It really, really helped. This little session of Reiki. My hands looked like they were changing colour and I got the feeling it was just bizarre. So anyway, I'm going to try and get some more of that. Click here to support Christina's MS funded battle, that she's doing. Stockboard Biogen reports top line results of phase 2 study of another drug for acute ischemic. That's actually the drug that I take, so that's good for a stroke as well. So I feel quite happy about that. Then the stuff about the Big Hope, Phil Simon's Big Hope. Hope raised for MS patients in the UK as a new drug is approved in Europe. So here we go. This is, I'm not mentioning any names here. Current treatments for multiple sclerosis follows in a video where trauma and inflammation shows up in the body. So I think actually those headlines are pretty good for people to read. We can share all of these when we publish them, which I do on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+. I'm not working for them, Phil. I have to say this. But I do really think that this is a great way. I do one of these daily publications for Rotary International because actually, it helps me, I must say, as a radio presenter, and you're a radio presenter as well, Phil. So to have all the latest headlines of a subject area in front of me is really, really helpful. So as I said, now I'm going to jump into this now. Now, as I said, I've got a special guest, my first guest. Also, I work with A&L Fashion. He's a fellow Rotarian that I met probably about 7 years ago when we were doing some bonkers charity. Phil, hello, how are you?
I'm absolutely fine, thank you. Thank you for inviting me here this evening. It's a great pleasure. It's a great pleasure to be here.
Always a pleasure to see you, Phil.
Right.
I mean, you now tell me. I'm not doing a plug out here to all of our, but tell me. We know your name's Philip Lester.
It is.
But tell me, where are you from? What part of Essex? What part? I'm saying that, we've got about a moment to plug this. But Phil, you're from a certain part of London.
Yes.
That people might know. Where is that?
I'm from South Woodford, which is right on the borderline of London and Essex. My postal area is E18.
Right.
And if you... From where I live, if I walk down the road for about 500 yards, I'm in Essex.
Well, here we go. So that's what I'm saying about, we've got a TV show in the UK called The Only Way is Essex.
We have, yes, indeed.
Towie. And I always call Phil my Towie friend.
Yes.
Because we have shared interests with fashion and stuff, which we're going to talk about later. But basically, I've known Phil for a long time. We've done loads of stuff for MS. And I thought, well, this is tried and tested. Yeah, we're going to have some other interviews with doctors, nurses, all of that sort of thing. But I thought, well, let's get something out here for this year of collaboration about what we're doing in reality. And Phil and I have done so much for MS charity fundraising with 24-hour radio shows, 12-hour radio shows.
Sure.
But Phil, tell us, why are you supporting MS? Tell us the story here, because it's brilliant that you are, but why are you helping people to learn about MS? Because you promoted the MS Clear Guide, you did loads of that. So tell us what the story is.
Well, as you've just said, not too many people know about MS. And Karen, of course, has had MS for, I don't know.
We don't talk figures.
We don't, right.
We don't talk figures.
She's had it for some years.
A couple of years.
Yeah.
We don't talk about that, but
I feel that it's something that I've taken a great interest in. I work with Karen on this, and really what we're doing is to enlighten the public as to what MS is all about. And I have learned an awful lot from Karen about MS, and I'm still learning. It's a disease that there's an awful lot of research going on, as you've probably heard from what Karen has actually said, and it's a great interest to me.
Well, thank you very much, Phil, because anybody, in my opinion, that takes time to support any charity, any good cause is fantastic, amazing. But people like your good self, and I'm saying a big thank you here, because I think you're amazing, Phil. You do all of this stuff to help Rotary. I'm not talking numbers, but over the kind of like normal retirement age, you're a little bit over that. So you're a little bit more mature. So you're not having to go and do your office desk job, whatever job, you went from a fashion design world, but the fact is, you've been really supporting MS, and I've done, as we said, 24, 12-hour radio broadcasts and raising money for an MS unit near you, actually,
yes,
at Good Mays Hospital, which has been great, because that's all about collaboration, and that goes back to the point that we started with, because these are just ideas that came to mind where we started broadcasting. And this is why I'm sort of saying to people, radio is a big thing for us. We both support local radio stations or whatever stations. I mean, I've come from a motor racing backgroundy sort of thing with radio, but that was also helping MS Charity, which is fantastic. Now, you've done loads. You're also a member of Rotary, and you've done loads of fundraising, and you support an MS Centre, don't you?
We do.
Tell me about that, Phil.
The MS Centre it's known as the Marjorie Collins Centre. Marjorie Collins actually was the person who actually founded the centre. Some I don't know, some years ago actually, and we have run lots and lots of functions there, either through Rotary or private functions, to keep the centre going and operating, and we are continuing to do that. In fact, this weekend we're doing a big do. We're having an annual supper quiz, which raises an awful lot of money, and that part of that will go to the MS Centre.
Wow, I mean, that's amazing, Phil. I mean, as I said, we did a bit of fundraising on the radio station, and that was 7 years ago. 8 years ago, who knows? I can't remember. Let's not talk years. But at the same time, you're just always helping. And I must say it's amazing what you and your wife, big shout out to Thelma in Towie, but together, collectively, with your Rotary Club, with your friends and your family, you really make a difference to people's lives with MS. I mean, the centre, I've been there.
Yes,
it's fantastic. It's run by volunteers, by people. It's got a skeleton staff because of money and everything. But we all know about the benefits of MS centres. We all know about learning the facts that you can go there and have some social companies, some physiotherapy, some whatever. I mean, they're really into it because obviously you've got doctors there.
Can I just say something else, that we use the MS Centre for once a month. We have an afternoon for people who suffer from dementia, and we invite people to come along, and we entertain them, we talk to them, we play games with them, and we generally take a very close interest in these people who are unfortunately suffering from dementia, and we use the MS Centre, and we donate money to them on a regular basis.
Well, this is it's just reinforcing just how amazing, your radio station, your team, all of you, your Rotary Club are.
Yes.
Because, as I said, that's over and above the call of duty, isn't it? You don't get paid for this.
No.
Rotary's got, 2.9 million people globally.
Sure.
There's clubs all over the world, all of that stuff. It comes from America, we know this. But the fact of the matter is, you've been active in this whole kind of like members thing in your area,
yes,
helping people, really supporting the local companies and businesses to help them learn about what's in their area.
Absolutely.
Donating to other charities. It's, MS is one of many. And, and as we said now, and this, I suppose, really, for me, is one of the things that we've looked at different ways and interesting ways that we can engage people. That's what we did on the radio show. We did a sponsored radio broadcast.
We did. Yes.
We took a time to interview the MS Clear Guide. Now, the MS Clear Guide is supported, which is lovely. Thank you so much. MS&Me, you're amazing. The whole team at MS&Me are amazing, but thank you so much. I'm desperately trying to finish updating the MS Clear Guide with some latest features, which basically is going to lead me into the next area they're going to be talking about. So I'm not going to say too much. But I want to update that because I find, the people that look at it via the MS&Me radio shows as well, because we're broadcasting all around the world here. You get in touch and you ask some really important questions that, we try to cover. And yes, this show is all about collaboration, so it's working together. It's about how we can make a difference. The radio station that we're doing is 24 hours a day. How amazing is MS&Me that it's doing that? So if someone's scared, Phil, in the world, stressed out about their MS, they can tune in 24 hours a day.
Well, that's absolutely fantastic. It really
don't
is.
you think? Don't you wish your radio station had that ability?
Well, yes, indeed.
I know, yes, I've done various bits of radio and with the BBC and all the different broadcasting things, but to have a 24-hour radio station, and I remember when we were talking about this as a concept, because I referred about what we were doing and the impact that we'd made to people's lives. And actually, I think after we did what we did, people actually started talking about it more in Rotary.
Well, that's right.
People actually started doing stuff, so we set a little bit of a wave off, because we found that when we did our events, we were publishing strong features to fellow Rotarians. Eve Conway, top girl.
Absolutely.
She really helped us, didn't she?
She did.
To push that out. Clive Amos from my club. And, oh no, I've forgotten his name. I've got brain fog, cognitive function. Here we go. Hold on, what was his name? David
Palmer.
David Palmer. Amazing people. And, some of the other district governors have really helped the work that we've done. So a big shout out to Rotary, a big shout out and thank you for all of your support. I could list countless numbers of people. Have a look at this, because it's something that people do as something to make a difference locally in their communities, because it's all based on local things. But you can go international, national, you can do loads. So I urge you to, if you want to find out about how you can make a difference in society, Rotary might appeal. It's got members like Phil and I, girls and boys, all trying to make a big difference. And, as I said, we had Rotarians on these 24 12-hour radio shows. But I hope that the Rotarians now are going to help us with the big headline that I'm talking about with you and I. And the reason you're here is all linked to the concept of recycling.
Absolutely.
And we're looking at how we can recycle, in this case, fabrics. We at the group that I work with, Phil, A&L Fashion of London, we recycle in anything. We'd make anything out of anything. It's about fashion design. However, we've been doing this high-end market, and Philip's had a lot of experience in a very limited small trade with stuff. I mean, it's got a lot smaller over the years in the fur industry.
It has indeed.
But basically, there's lots of different things. We're not going to labour the point about that too much. But the recycling bit is a project that Phil and I took on, and we actually reached out to the public and said, look, can you help us make a difference and give us any fur coats, anything that we can recycle? Obviously Phil's got a company based in the City of London, so it's all British, and making that. But as I said, we reached out and said this because what we wanted to do is we wanted to waste not, want not. That's our strap line here.
Yep.
And actually clean these coats that they were going to be chucked out. And I said, stop what you're doing. You cannot chuck these fur coats out. I mean, a fur coat to me is something that's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's fashion. It's not everyone's cup of tea, whether it's in faux fur, that's fake fur, or not. But this, as I said, is helping us, and you're helping us with A&L Fashion, Phil, with the recycling of fur.
Yes.
To make products to help us with, and there's a special bag that we're talking about, and this is where the Jackie bag comes in, because I know the producer was on about the Jackie bag on the radio show.
Yes, he was.
And we've got that coming out. Do you want to tell us about the Jackie bag, Phil?
Well, yes, the Jackie bag was actually designed by Karen. And it was then we sat down and thought, well, what can we make? What fur can we use to make a Jackie bag? And we came up with the idea of using two-tone colours. And the first choice was a black and white. I think it was. Was it black and white?
Well, I had this inspiration as a designer, Mary Quant. And I thought, well, if we're going to do this for MS, we're going to look the best.
Yeah.
Especially if we're going to involve the MS&Me radio team, we have got to look good. So, as I said, we looked at that. I was inspired by Mary Quant, and the black and white bit came in.
And
then we had this bit where we had all this stuff that, and then Phil said, well, Kaz, we've got to wait and see what's given to you to use as your fabric that I can get cleaned. So then obviously we had to look at coats, and I've turned up, Phil said, Phil, and you're like, another one to unpick, because it's all unpicking the skins,
absolutely,
isn't it?
yes, it is indeed.
It's quite an engaging job.
But well, this is it. You when you want to sort of recycle here, you've got to strip the coat down right down to the bare bones. You've got to take everything off. You've got to take the lining out. You've got to take the backing out, and get the whole thing on the flat, and then you decide what you're going to make from it.
And then you clean it in between that.
Oh,
and
yes.
all that. That's a big thing that people went, ew,
No.
oh God, that's someone else's coat.
Once it's stripped down, then the next process is to have it thoroughly cleaned. I should make this point that if a garment is really very, very brittle, then of course we won't use it.
I know, because we couldn't recycle a couple of the coats that were given, because you
Yes.
said it's too brittle, it's too, so not every coat we could do something with, or jacket. I mean, we had such...
But
Sorry, Thelma, for all the coats that arrived.
But believe me, I've made some amazing things out of remaking a coat into a three-quarter, or what's been very, very popular over the last couple of years is
We've got London Fashion Week coming up soon. Here we go, London designer
gilets and things.
talking about the gilet. Yeah, oh god, they're very in, very, very in.
Absolutely.
But Phil, this is so amazing. You're fantastic for giving us the time. Thank you so much. I'm going to wrap up now because wow, we have flown through this time slot today.
Well, thank you for your time. Thank you,
Phil,
very
thank you so much. We've got a big thank you. We are so British. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. But doesn't it make that small word? Gosh, I tripped up on the last sentence. Small, such a small word as thanks makes such a difference to me, and it keeps me going and makes a difference to everything I do. So thank you for listening, if you are, and take care. Speak soon. Lots of love from London.